Hey there. Excuse me. Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Okay, you've seen the BS Jig, and you've seen why we designed it the way we did. Let's go over all the accessories that you want to have with this. The BS joinery is more than just a jig. It really is a system. And just think about it for a minute. You have the Craig system with all the accessories for that thing that you can use to help make that easier to use the Craig jig. When it comes to material, as that wood gets thinner and thinner, and you get underneath a 3/8 of an inch, like 5/16 of an inch on down to 3/16, that's pretty thin to be joining two pieces together. To have a good solid system set up so you can grab that, and if you're going to have to join two pieces together and you want to reinforce that joint, grab your BS accessory kit, which is what I'm going to show you here in a minute, and it should have everything in there so that you should be able to perform quickly and without any hassle, be able to install BS pins into that joint to hold it together. So this is a great addition to any wood shop if you're going to make small boxes, small drawers, anything small. When you're joining thin pieces of wood together, you need to reinforce that joint. Even if it's only just two pieces together, it's not a whole box. You got to reinforce that joint. This is a great way to do it. So it's a handy kit to have around for when you need it. So let's look at what I've actually put into this whole thing as a kit, so that you can see, maybe you have some ideas of how to set your kit up if you're going to put together a BS joinery jig system, whatever it's called. So anyway, I found this box here. It's nothing special. I could have made something, but since I had it, I thought this is perfect. It has a snap lid on it and a plastic lid. And if I take that off, let's take a look at everything that we have in the box. Of course, first and foremost, we have our base of our jig and our fence. And most commonly, this is where I have the 12 degrees. Eventually, I'll have a 45-degree one on this end, so that you can use this with the 45 or with the 12-degree angle, depending on whether you're putting it into butt joints or into miter joints on thin pieces of wood. So these are the main pieces that you'll find in there. And again, all you have to do is to set this thing up. And in fact, I'm going to set this up, and we're going to drill real quick in real time. And we'll do it toward the end of the video. I'm going to drill. I had these 6 in, but this side is still not reinforced. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll do it in real time. We'll do all 6 of these, and you'll see that not only will these be identical to each other when I get done, but they'll also match the other side, even though they've all been drilled at different periods of time. And I've had to reset this thing up to use this jig. So it's pretty consistent now. I'm very happy with the way it's designed, the way it works. So, and if we have time today, I may go over all the dimensions of the actual jig so you can see it. So, and we'll see. And I also have a surprise. If you stick around to the very end, I have show you a new trick I got for bamboo skewers. So it's kind of cool. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what else we got in there besides this. We also have the 2 drill bits that are in here. And I have 2 set blocks, or stop blocks. And these are actually already set up on these 2 drill bits. This is the 7/64 and this is the 9/64. You have to watch the other video to see how to use this and why you have these. And they're already cut to the length they need. They're not centered or perfect, but they do the job of what I want. Eventually I'll make a nicer one. But this is just 3/4 inch dowel, and then a side hole drilled in through the side to intersect that center hole. And then I put it's a 3/16 hole and a 1/4 20 set screw right into the threads. I just cut them in as I screw it in, and put a little furniture wax on it so that it's nice and smooth and turning. And I lock it against this to give me a stop collar. So these 2 are already set for the 1/4 inch dimensional wood. So if your piece is going to be a 1/4 inch or more, you don't have to reset this if you've already got it set up like this. These 2, this drills the hole. It's just set to the right dimension And all this is just, it bottoms out against here. So this is 5/8 of an inch. Mathematically, that's what I needed, so that when I put this in here, I want it to come out this side a certain distance, which would be 5/8 of an inch. And like I said, I went through all that in the video. And this one is set up to be, that distance there is the same distance as what's sticking out here. So from the bottom, from the stop collar to the tip is the same distance as what you see sticking out here. That is so that once I drill the hole with the smaller one, if I want to enlarge it, which we've talked about in the jig setup too, then this is already set up, so I just have to grab it, put it in the drill, and carefully just go through and resize all the holes real quickly. And this way you won't drill it deeper, it'll just drill it out a little larger, so you can put the larger bamboo skewer in there. So since they're already set up, it makes it real quick. And with the default setting this on the fence to get the 1/4 inch, this only takes a second to set up and start to use. So besides this and our 2 drill bits, now I do have, and I've made reference to them, and everybody's probably still wondering why I bought the longer bit. I bought the 2 6-inch ones also, and I only did that because there's going to be probably a weird time when you're going to need more length than what you get from one of these standard Harbor Freight bits. And so I figured if I need that extra length, I have it ready and available. So these will be in there. The stop collars will work on these just as well as on these. So if I set the stop collars up on these 2 the same way I did on these other 2, then you could use just these all the time and not use the Harbor Freight one. So I think that sooner or later, you don't need it to buy it at first. You can get by with this. But maybe sooner or later you might want to consider these. That's up to you. It's an option. I have them. I'm not complaining. It cost you about $9 for the pair. So be it. So that's something else I have in here. So I have the 4 drill bits. Now as far as spacers, that's what these things are just basically spacers. This is set to a predetermined length to work on this jig. But also, sometimes you have to be flexible, because if your material isn't 1/4 inch, you got to adjust what this might have to be. Now, it just so happens I also learned that I have this little, I keep this little bottle, and in here, what we have is several nuts. These are 1032 nuts. The reason I'm using them is because the thickness on those nuts is exactly 1/8 of an inch. So each one of these is a 1/8 inch spacer. So instead of having that on there, if I needed to adjust the depth of cut of the depth of the drill bit, and let's say instead of 5/8 of an inch, I only wanted to be 3/8 of an inch, then I would just take 3 of these, get rid of all the excess. I keep 5 of these nuts in there. Now I have 3 nuts stacked together, and I put a couple of little rare earth magnets from Harbor Freight, those little 5/16 inch magnets. I keep them because that helps me manage these so I don't keep fumbling in my finger. And when I drop it on here with the little magnet, this is now set to a stop depth of 3/8 of an inch instead of 5/8 of an inch. So this gives you that adjustment. I have also 1 washer, which is 1/16 of an inch. So now if I needed it to be 7/16 of an inch, I could just add that, and I get that 7/16 of an inch stop collar built in, and it all stays on there with the magnet. So this is my adjustable stop block for this drill bit. It's just handy to have it around. If you need it, it'd be nice to have it and not have to go scrounge this stuff up. So I just keep what I think I need in this little container, and I keep it in there. And of course, I have pre-cut in there. I'll take this out. Also, pre-cut in there, I have some of the BS pins. I just cut them to 1 inch and mass cut a bunch of them. And I used to have a bunch in here. Boy, you do go through these fast. So, but if you want to cut a bunch up ahead of time and just store them in here, this is a great way to keep this in your kit too. So what else is in this kit? I had the old mini BS jig, and I've decided I'm actually going to make use of this. It's already set up. It's got the sandpaper here, so I get gripping power. But this has the straight drill bit. I showed it to you in the last video, why not to use it straight, why you had to go at an angle. But I can actually take this, and I'm going to drill 2 more holes in there, one at a 12 degree and one at a 45, and they will come out at the exact point they need to under here, so that when I can take this then with those in there and use it for a one-time operating. I can just put it on there. I can either pinch it or put a clamp on it real quick, but I would adjust this to where I want it so that the hole that I'm using lines up to where I would want it. And then I drill that hole. Then I would just move it over. Most of the time, I suspect I can just hold it with my fingers and drill a hole, move it over to where I want it, and drill a hole. So this will be a quick, easy version of this. But I want to play with it, and I think maybe I'll have 145 and 112 in here so that I can use it for either of those. And I'll just have to make sure I know what the distance from the edge to that center of that hole is so that I can adjust as needed to line up to where I would want them. Anyway, we'll get into this a little bit more one of these days. I've been thinking about it, and I think so I didn't throw it away. I decided to keep this little fella because I think we can turn it into a mini version of this. So I do have my mini BS jig in there too. This is that tubing that I bought that goes in the jig right here. They bought 2 of them. This is the second one. This is going to be mostly used up when I put my 45 in here, which I want to do. And since I'm also going to do it here, 2 more, this thing is probably pretty much used up for everything I have. So 2 of these you definitely need. I may end up having to buy another one if I decide to make more of these ideas of these jigs, which I also am thinking about. I was thinking about taking this jig, and instead of coming straight in at 12 degrees, what if I came in at 12, but I also tipped it this way at a 12 degrees, so it actually goes in and toenails into the bottom board, and then have another one opposing the same way, the opposite direction, so it goes in at a compound angle, and it toenails in, and these 2 would oppose each other just like toenailing, so that you can actually turn these into a toenail doweling. And I think maybe I can make a little jig to do that with, about this size, so I can have that where now. So I just have to control the angle when I make one of these, and when I drill those holes. The real trick is to drill those holes exactly right, and then once you glue it in place, everything will work perfect. But I'd like to make a mini one of them with a toenailing capability. Why not? I'm a fanatical guy sometimes about this stuff. But I keep the tubing in there for making future ideas and future jigs that I may want. What else do I have in here? I think we're getting close to the end. I have some spare bamboos, but I also keep 2 sizes of bamboo sticks in here. This is the smaller size. I do not know where I found these. I'm going to go back out and see if I can find them, a regular source, and if I do, I'll let you know where I bought them. These are 6 inches long, but they're 7/64 of an inch in diameter, which means that when I drill the first hole using the jig, I can use these straight up. I don't have to size that hole bigger when I use these. Now, these aren't obviously as beefy as the others. The others are quite a bit bigger round. So I have more faith in how strong these are compared to these. But sometimes this is probably more than enough. Maybe you put 3 in instead of 2. So anyway, I do keep a bundle of these in here so that if that's what I need, I'll have them right here in my jig, my supply. I also have the bigger ones. Check this out. I just took a piece of cardboard and I just shoved a bunch of them in there. So now that's a good way to hold those things and store them while they're in my kit. And you know what? There's a side benefit to this thing. I saw this on one of those channels where they don't talk. They don't tell you in the title what it is. And there's like 12 different tricks in the video. And this was one of the things that was in there. And I don't remember who it was. Sorry. But anyway, it's a profile duplicator. So if I take this and I put this on here, and I'm going to push this up and check it out. That is this. So you can actually use this to as a little quick mini profiler, and you can do it from the points. I ground these down a little bit so they're a little bit flatter and not so pointy, but you can do it from this side if you want, or you can do it from here. But it actually doesn't work too bad as a duplicate profiler, or profile duplicator, whatever they call these things, which is weird. But anyway, it is a great way to store it. I just took some a small piece of cardboard. Make sure your veins on your bamboo, if you're going to do this, you see the veins are running this way. So when you size it, you're not going to be able to put these in through here. They have to fit into those little spaces in between, and only on one. This is a double row. I only use one row. I use the upper row to put them in, one right next to the other, until, in fact, I could put them all the way across here, and this would be a profiler for a bigger thing. Anyway, I thought that was weird when I saw that, and then I thought, oh, this would be a good way to store them. So that's the last thing I have in here, is all these bamboo skewers, so that I have them right at my fingertips. But that's the whole accessory kit. I will do one more video after this that will show you, and I'll go over the exact dimensions of this. I'll get my ruler out, and we'll take some very careful measurements so you can duplicate this just from what that video will tell you. And I'll also show you how easy it is to drill a 12 or a 45 or any degree angle with the drill press by just making a donkey's ear to help you do that. And so we'll kind of get a quick review of how to make a quick donkey's ear at a particular angle for a particular job. So we'll get into that, and we'll show you exactly how I did this and all the little tips and tricks, the things to watch for, the things to watch out for and not do, because I've gone through several iterations to get to this point, and I like this a lot. But I think I'm also going to like the mini one when I get done. Which one will I use more? Who knows until I get them both done. So if you want to make any of these and you want to send it to me, the pictures, I would love to see them. Your version, just make sure you send it to my email, which is OTB-Thinker at CPAMOMY.com. So if you want, just send me the pictures there. And if anybody wants to see anything that I see in that, send me an email there and let me know, and I'll put you in a group so that I can take those pictures and forward it to the group every time I get them, so I can share them with anybody that's interested in seeing these pictures too. And we'll just do that through the email. If the person doesn't want to share his email to forward, I won't be doing it that way. I'll just be copying the picture over to a new email and sending just the pics. If you want to not be identified by name, just make sure you put that in the email. So that's just something I'm kind of experimenting with. And if you want to send me pictures of this project, if you do want your version or any project, I would love to see them. And if you ever want to be on that list to see what I see, because those are where I get a lot of ideas for future OTB projects. So if you want to get involved in that, just send me your email. You have mine, and I will make sure that I get that. Hopefully I'll get that all set up. So, but this is ready to go. I'll do this next time. I was going to drill these holes, but we'll do that real quick, because I'll show you how the way it's set up. It just takes me a couple minutes to set it up and use it consistently. So you don't have a major setup every time you want to use this thing either. So we'll do that on the next one, since this thing is so long already. But that's my kit. Everything I need is right in there. Makes it easy peasy. And then I just keep a lid on it, and I just set this on the shelf. So if I need to do some joinery on some small, thin plywood, piece of cake, not a big deal at all. I get this out, put it away 5 minutes later, and all my joints are reinforced. So it's a great addition to any wood shop or any shop where you like to make small objects. I think it's be handy. So tell me what you think, your thoughts, comments, leave them down below. If you learned something here or you like this video, excuse me, if you like this video, please hit that like button. It does let me know. I watch that very carefully, and it really lets me know if I'm doing something that you think I'm on the right track for. So, and all comments are appreciated. So just leave your comments, and like I said, hit that like button. Most importantly, though, please come back again, because I'm nowhere near done. Thanks. Hey, we'll see you guys again very soon.